Hey guys, it's Dale. I'm in the hangar today because smoke has descended on Kamloops and the conditions for flying outside today aren't the greatest. In my last update video, I was mentioning that I had done some vinyl work to the airplane, and I was asked if I would do a video about what I did, how I did it, and maybe what I've learned, what I didn't learn. So as you can see, it's mostly done. There's only a couple of details left that I have to do. The wheel pants, I'm still trying to decide how I'm going to do those. It's going to match, of course, the overall scheme with the burgundy and black, maybe gray stripes. And I still haven't done the tail yet. They're still missing, I don't know what we want to call it, a swoosh, a C-shaped detail. That's kind of visually going to pick up with the black line there and make a swoosh. I'll show a video, or I'll show a picture of what I kind of intend to do, because none of this is original. I picked all these ideas up from just looking at photos of RVs and other types of airplanes online. So overall, I'm very happy with the way it turned out. It's considering I'm an amateur and have never attempted to do anything like this before, I believe it turned out real good. Far from perfect, but real good. Like I mentioned before, my original intent was to learn how to paint, because of the cost of painting an airplane it's not really affordable. It's to do it properly would probably cost around $30,000 if I can find someone who would do it. So I decided that wasn't in my budget, and looked at the vinyl wrapping idea. And again, I'm overall very pleased with it, even though it's not a permanent solution. Vinyl will break down over time. It's this stuff. Well, I guess I'll get into what I used and what it cost and things like that. But this stuff is basically designed for, I believe it's 5 years of outdoor exposure. Now, I'm in a hangar. Reasonably, I think I should be able to expect more than 5 years before color breaks down and whatnot. There's going to be challenges, absolutely. I mean, one of the areas I'm concerned about is around the cowling, because that cowling gets extremely warm. And vinyl wrap is susceptible to bubbling and lifting of the adhesive if it gets too hot. I've only got, maybe about 5 hours of flying since I've done the wrapping, so I haven't noticed any wind damage, if you will. The plane travels at 150 knots, which is 280 something kilometers per hour. So that's a lot of wind. In a car, you don't get that kind of wind. So I'm expecting that I'm going to have to do repairs over time to address, heat damage, or if damage is the right word, but heat effects and the effects of wind. So I elected to go with, I did quite a bit of research on it. I looked into all the different brands and the different types of vinyl wrap that are available on the market. You can do it reasonably inexpensively, and you can do it reasonably expensively. I opted to go with one of the better known brand names. 3M, I guess, is the number one, and everybody swears by 3M. It's got a great reputation. I ended up going with the Avery Dennison SW900 line of wraps, simply because in doing my bit of research that I read that Avery is one of the best brand names for beginners to use. I ordered samples online of some Vivid and a no-name Chinese brand from Temu, just to see what it would be like, what am I getting into, sort of thing. And Avery was definitely better to use. How much did I use? So 2 colors for the most part. The black and gray are just different rolls or sheets of material that I ordered from Amazon that I cut to the right size or applied and shaped to the right size. The rolls for the Avery come in 75-foot rolls. They're 5 feet wide, so what's that, 375 square feet? Yeah, 375. So I ordered one burgundy and one white. So the whole bottom of the airplane is done in burgundy, the wingtips, some of the striping. The belly is all done. The bottom half of the cowling is done. And I still have, oh, I don't know, there's probably still 10 or 15 feet of material left on this roll that I can use for, touch-ups, redos. The white I use considerably more. So another 75-foot roll for the white. I ran out of material. I ordered another 25 feet, and that still wasn't enough. Basically, what I should have done was order 2 full rolls of white. But after the 25 feet were done, I still didn't have enough to do the horizontal stabilizer. So I used probably more than I thought I was going to. I didn't ruin a lot of pieces because I'm a beginner. I fully expected there was going to be some wastage from ruining. I believe when I was doing the top of this wing, I ran into a whole bunch of wrinkles, and I mean, the stuff is adhesive, it bunches up, and I ended up ruining a 10-foot by 5-foot piece. Which would have been enough to finish the tail. So maybe 100 linear feet of it would have been enough. The rolls cost me about, I believe it was just shy of $900 Canadian per roll. So all in all, we're looking at probably, about $2,500 in materials. I mean, when you figure in some of this black and gray, which was not terribly expensive. The black and gray are actually Vivid that I ordered from Amazon because I only needed very small amounts. It's not going around curves. It's not being stretched and heated. So I thought I could, do the stripes relatively easy with a lesser brand, if you want to call it that. I'm not sure if that's really fair to Vivid. This stuff apparently is quite good, but it wasn't as easy to work with. Between the bulk of the material, some stripes, the lettering that I had to reorder, I went through about 120 meters of knifeless cut tape. And it's not inexpensive, but so overall, I'm probably into this whole thing for less than $3,000. Compared to the cost of painting, it doesn't even compare. And with the amount of colors available, the amount of design options available, I mean, you can do pretty much whatever you want and still get away for relatively a lot less money. So what did I learn? I learned that it's doable for a beginner. Obviously, I did it. It's in some ways, it's fairly easy to use, but it's not as easy as they make it look like on YouTube. There's guys, I mean, they're professionals. They know what they're doing, and they show you how to wrap a hood of a car or a door. But when you have, and that's all well and good. I had little trouble doing the vertical surfaces. Not no problems, but relatively little. Because the material is hanging and doesn't really get a whole lot of opportunity to bunch up on you or wrinkle or bubble or whatever. But doing a wing, which is basically 50 square feet, it's 10 feet long by 5 wide, or almost. Having all that material laid out or trying to get it laid out, especially working by yourself, because I did the majority of this by myself, it was challenging. It was, I believe they call it character building. So I did ruin a little bit of material, but relatively not too bad. The biggest problems I had were the bunching up. So basically you lay out the whole, the whole wing, you stretch it out or glass it, I guess it's called, to try to get it as flat and ready for the squeegee as you can. And then once you start squeegeeing and everything is going well, but you end up with a little area where it's either bubbled or bunched up on you, so you pick it up and you stretch it, flatten it all out. Well, that any amount of stretching whatsoever causes bunching up of material somewhere. And if it's towards the end, not a big deal. But if you have a bunch of extra material by the time you do the first half of the wing, by the time you get outwards or down underneath, because this is done top and bottom, so there's a seam underneath here that's hidden. It can make the edges and the ends, quite messy. And frustrating. Oh my goodness. I'm not a patient person by nature. So I had my days where when I was doing this, shaking your head, what am I gotten myself into? And but I mean, in the end, it turned out pretty well. There's a lot of mistakes on here. If I was a professional trying to do this on someone else's airplane, I'd never make a nickel. There's so many little things here and there. Mostly it's to do with the finishing, the tucking away on the edges, trim. There's a few. Let me see if I can find some. They're kind of hard to see, I'm sure, on the camera, but glue lines, things showing through from underneath because I did not strip the paint. Where I felt it needed to be sanded, I sanded smooth, I primed, but there's still places where, like right there, there's a little wrinkle that I either didn't notice it when it was happening, or I just simply couldn't take it out. There's a lot of mistakes underneath the airplane because that's where I started and that's where I wanted to make most of my mistakes. Yeah, and things like in here, this sort of stuff I can still trim up. It's not perfect, but by the time I get around to doing all the little trims and finishes, it should turn out pretty well. But yeah, wrinkles, air bubbles, those have been mildly infuriating. And I guess one thing that I just noticed by accident a couple of days ago, when I was reinstalling this fiberglass fairing, I was using an electric drill and the drill skipped. And now I've got this big gash, which is not ideal. So I have to figure out a way how to either just cut this out, put another piece on, patch it, just put another piece right over it. I'm not 100% sure yet. And of course, same thing here, another little drill skip. So electric drills and vinyl wrap don't mix. Compound curves, holy. So I tried to get this done professionally. I went to a company here in Kamloops that vinyl wraps cars. They were quite excited at the idea to do it. And when they came out and did their measurements to kind of go back and get me a quote, eventually they ended up telling me that they couldn't do it because of their insurance wouldn't allow them to touch an airplane. So that led me to just trying to find anybody who would help me out. And I did find a guy who lives in Vernon, about almost an hour down the road, who drove out, spent the night here, and basically helped me for 2 solid days. And he did a lot of really good work for me. He showed me how to do some of the layouts for, doing the curved burgundy. And more importantly, he did the cowling, and he did a great job on the cowling. All that burgundy down there is mostly one piece. He did most of it in one piece, and I watched him do it. Ugh. And the top cowling is done with mostly one piece, except he did do an inlay in the nostrils there. But otherwise, this is all done in one piece. So having a professional help you out, big plus. I don't think I would have gotten this. Well, no, I know I would not have gotten the same result had I done the cowlings myself. Fits of frustration, I'm sure, lots of wasted material. And I don't think I would end up with a result that I would have been happy with. So that's the one compound curve I had someone else do. So I did this fiberglass tail fairing. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. This is all one piece. There's a lot of compound curves, a lot of changes of shape, but again, not perfect. Like in the corners here, this is bubbled up a little bit. I may fix that, I may not. I may live with it for a while. But this type of thing here is one of the things that I've accepted that I have to live with by not paying a professional to do it for me. There's a couple of areas where I need to redo some things. When you stretch the material over, especially around a curve, material bunches up, you need to stretch and tuck and all that sort of stuff. Then when you trim and apply heat for the finishing, sometimes you get, I believe it's called lifting or drop pullback. So like the corners, it's again a little hard to see with, let me see if I can get close here. So on the corners, you see a little bit of pullback. So these need to be, reheating them is not going to, reheating them will fix it temporarily. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of cut a straight line, remove some material, and probably lay a little bit more burgundy just on the corner there to try to help that. So overall, I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. It sounds like I'm crapping all over my own vinyl job here. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. If I would change one thing, all of the stripes, like all of these little trim bits here, all the gray, all the black, and on the wings, these little stripes here, those are all laid out by hand. So basically what I did is, this was white. So then when I did the wingtips, I did the burgundy to, where the wingtip ends, the fiberglass wingtip. So what I did is I put another piece on to bring it out, and then just used a 1/4 inch spacer. Then I just laid out a 1 inch stripe or pinstripe, whatever you want to call it, all by hand using the knifeless cut tape. And it turns out pretty good. But if you look at, again, here I am crapping all over my own job. Like the black stripe here, the line's not 100% straight. So when you're laying it out and you're trying to create a curve, you get the imperfection of doing it all by hand. One thing that I would do differently if I was to do this again would be to order striping custom to fit exactly what I'm trying to achieve. Simply because creating a pinstripe using a 5 foot or a 1 foot or 10 foot piece of vinyl, the lines aren't going to be perfectly straight. So that I would probably do a little bit differently. But otherwise, I'm quite pleased with the way it turned out. There's some things that I'll need to redo. There's some things that may fail over time. The wheel pants are still a work in progress. But yeah, that's where we are. I'm pretty happy with it. Everyone that I show it to says that they think it looks fantastic. So they're probably not going to tell me if it didn't. But yeah, that's what I've learned in doing this. Hopefully that helps you.